Sometimes you can say something, it can be misconstrued, and then you've got an entire controversy you have to deal with where you were like, yeah, lekin I didn't even mean that.
Now you're having Jogi, which is having the backdrop of 1984.
It is a controversial subject. 84 is not a good year for India. It was never something that, we could make light of in any way. We've kept everybody's sentiments in mind. We've kept feelings in mind because it is such a strong topic. Hi everyone, I'm Amaira Dastoor and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.
It's wonderful to have Amaira Dastoor with us, 10 years in the industry, but she looks younger than what she did when she started off. Pleasure having you back with us, Amaira.
Thank you.
And tell us, you've been dabbling in various industries right now, be it South as well as Punjabi as well, and Hindi, of course. How was the experience?
I love it. I enjoy cinema anyway. I started off with the South and I have to say I'm just really happy about how far I've come. Nowadays I just feel like everything is becoming very pan-India. It's not just regional cinema anymore. So for me, it doesn't matter where I go. As long as there's a good script, a good director and a good co-star, I'm happy.
Right, and then I think the way the OTT is happening and the way it is giving it has given a new lease of life to a lot of good actors. You're doing Dongri to Dubai.
Yeah, which is Bombay Meri Jaan now.
Okay, and that must have been an exciting experience.
It was phenomenal. It actually took us, it was 2 years in the making because of the pandemic. Believe it or not, we started in Feb 2020 and then it stalled in March once the lockdown happened. And then we tried to start again at the end of 2020. But then again in 2021, beginning Jan, everybody started like packing up because things were getting bad. And we finally finished this year actually in February. So it has been a journey, but it has come out brilliant. I'm very excited about this.
Right. And I think it's a very democratic space. I think the actors, they're given credence. Their characters are allowed to expand and flourish, and there's more to it. So do you find that liberating in a way as an actor?
More than that, I actually find the fact that you are getting proper actors, like people who can actually act, like proper talent, showcasing their stuff when they do a good OTT series. Like you've got a Jitendra now and people know his name because of Panchayat. And you've got a Jaideep Alawat who's done Paatal Lok and he's blown up completely. Or for example, a Pankaj Tripathi. I think that's the beauty of OTT, that you are getting real class actors showcasing their talent.
Now you're having Jogi, which is having the backdrop of 1984. So can you say that can be possibly controversial as well?
I mean, it can be. I think anything today can be controversial. But at the end of the day, we're not showcasing so much of the political things that went behind it rather than what actually happened in Delhi during those few days. It is a controversial subject. 84 is not a good year for India. It was never something that, we could make light of in any way because of how hard it hit a certain culture or a certain people. And I think at the end of the day, cinema in some way tries to bring truth. Even if it's a hard truth, we still try to showcase it. And I think the way Ali sir and Diljit have gone about it, we've kept everybody's sentiments in mind. We've kept feelings in mind because it is such a strong topic. So hopefully it's not going to be viewed as controversial, but rather be taken in as the truth of what happened.
All right, and it's releasing on Netflix, and we've seen in recent times, for example, like a Darlings, for example, it has done extraordinarily well on an OTT platform. Do you think that it's time for actors and filmmakers to realize that OTT is here to stay? Sameer Nair told me that the genie is not going back in the bottle anymore, and people should accept that.
I think, when OTT first came, people sort of viewed it as a downgrade when it came to theatrical cinema. Because they're like, "Arey, wo movies aayenge jo theater mein release nahi ho payenge." And now where you're seeing OTT, there's such a boom to the fact that you've got Lord of the Rings on OTT. You've got like the new kind of prequel to Game of Thrones. You've got a Darlings, like you said. I mean, here we are seeing that OTT is coming out with not just strong content, but better content than what you're seeing in the theaters today. So I think that's the best part about it. I mean, you can judge something, but then everything changes. It just changes overnight. And I think that's the beauty of OTT, that here you've got content which is actually getting people to come sit at home, and here we are in your house. I think that's amazing.
Right. No, it is so fascinating that, and I think it's happening like really fast. People need to take notice of that. So earlier it was said that event films will be releasing in cinema halls, and other sort of content will be coming on OTT. Now you're having Rings of Power, $1.25 billion budget. the VFX, which are like spectacular, the prosthetics. So you can watch it on a big screen in your house,
Absolutely.
and if not your mobile. But this is fascinating. So it's something which which just cannot be stopped anymore.
No, it can't. Even our Bombay Meri Jaan, the budget is insane. And here you can see that because through the production, through, the fine actors we even have on set, through all our workshops that we had to go through. I mean, Amazon is pumping in money for their shows. So is Netflix, so is Hotstar. All of them are doing it. Why? Because you want to create that thing where you get more subscribers at the end of the day. So even they are playing to get that audience. So it's not just theatrical, OTT, oh, there's going to be a difference when it comes to quality. I genuinely believe that on OTT, quality is fantastic. Like you said, 1.25 billion. It's not a small amount.
Which is massive, like which is
Yeah.
going to be, I think, something else. So and now, 10-year journey. You've had some interesting, I think, episodes. You've had some interesting projects that have come up. You also made this branding for yourself as someone who's not merely a pretty face. Your social media has a lot of substance to it as well. You went out your opinion when you really should. You not like on a regular basis, but when it really matters. So that element of cerebral element and that intelligent element is there as well. Do you feel at times that maybe now is the time for makers, because you already have certain projects, to really capitalize upon the package that I think any actor is in terms of looks as well as the element of cerebral element?
First thing, it's 9 years. 10 years will be next year.
Okay.
I just want to say that. But as to your question,
अभी भी लेकिन लगता है कि कल ही आपने start किया.
है ना?
हाँ जी.
No, but it just feels so good because I feel finally after these 9 years, I'm actually in a place where such good work, like you said, I'm getting approached by such good makers and such good content, and it feels like this journey has been so up and down, up and down. Now it finally feels like I'm at a stable position in the industry, and I am just very grateful for that. I'm very grateful for my journey. I'm very grateful for voicing my opinion when I could. I'm grateful that people actually listened and didn't sort of troll me for it, which is what's happening today. And I think you can say I have been kind of careful. I wouldn't say that I was completely free or anything. I have controlled myself a lot because ultimately I know where I stand. I know I am not somebody who's got that insane industry backing that a lot of kids today have. So you have to be careful. And as somebody, I'm sure even you must understand because you've also come up on your own. It's not easy. Sometimes you can say something, it can be misconstrued, and then you've got an entire controversy you have to deal with where you were like, yeah, lekin I didn't even mean that. So for me today, I think even as the years go by, I'm always going to be a little careful, a little restricted in what I say or do because you have a very big following. And I feel that itself, you have to be responsible for what you post. You have to be responsible for what you say and how you behave. Because you never know, you could be inspiring somebody else. And if you think it's okay to just say things without thinking or to be insensitive, you're actually inspiring that person to do the same.
Correct.
So for me, that's very important, to make sure that I always stay on the right track and there's no sideways or idhar udhar or anything like that.
And do you think that if you are being honest to yourself, if you are not putting up like certain face that maybe the world can accept, because many times I think the celebrities, their entire world is Instagram reels.
Yes.
And that is their focus in life, and maybe which is okay as well. I think Instagram reels is extremely cool. But do you feel that you've not really come across as someone who's only keen on like a song and dance routine and just in terms of flaunting the skin or anything of that sort? You've been trying to do something new. Maybe I think Tandav 2 could have been a great platform for you, from what we saw in the last episode of Tandav 1. But do you think that that entire effort that you have done in terms of projecting a certain persona, that is working now and it will be seen more often?
I genuinely believe you should not overexpose yourself as an actor. I see a lot of stars doing it now, and I see that working against them in certain ways because a lot of people are like, "Arey yaar, we're bored of seeing this person." And I think that's what I'm scared of. I don't want anybody to turn around and say, "Yaar, now we're bored of seeing her. Please choose someone else." You have to be very careful of how much you expose and how much you kind of like reel it in. And for me, listen, if I wanted to create thirst traps for people and all, I could easily post my photos in a bikini and everything and I'd get the kind of views I want. But for me, I don't see that as substantial. I don't see that as something I see myself doing. I want to give people quality, even from my Instagram. All my shoots, we spend days and weeks planning. I literally sit with my stylist, I sit with the photographer, I sit with the hair, the makeup person, and we actually plan everything out so it comes off as classy and nice. And that's what I sort of want to incorporate in everything I do. I would rather be somebody who's known for a little amount of work, but good work, than somebody who's known for, "Arey, itne pictures wo release kar rahi hai har saal." That's not something I see myself doing. Ever.
Amazing. Okay, now, it's also a very, very interesting phase right now. I think there's a flip side of the controversial part. At the same time, it's a beautiful phase because I personally feel there are no boundaries anymore. It's an open space. We're consuming Korean content, we're consuming Spanish content, we're consuming all sorts of content. Similarly, people are consuming Indian content as well, and that too in various languages.
Yes.
You've already had an exposure as far as international exposure is concerned. There is no limit for that you have to speak a certain language, then only you'll be acceptable, and you have to speak that language well. Even I think English is something that is grown on anyone and everyone all across the world. So do you find that in a way a fascinating part as far as this particular phase is concerned, and would you want to capitalize on getting maybe say more international shows as well if possible?
Definitely. I think the entire goal is to sort of become an international icon, right? At the end of the day, you want to be known by everyone in every country. And as you said, we've got a Money Heist or a Squid Game where everybody was just glued to it. It didn't matter that it was in Spanish or Korean. And I think with the pandemic, you can actually see that those language barriers sort of, disintegrated because there was really nothing to do. So all you could do is sit at home and watch TV.
Right.
Let's be very honest, none of us could go out, none of us could do anything. And that's what happened. There was this insane boom when it came to international cinema because you're like, okay, now I'm sick and tired of watching these shows. Now what else is new? What else is there? What else haven't I seen before? And I think in cinema, if you are somebody who breaks those boundaries, who gives somebody something they haven't seen, people will eat it up like anything. Mm-hmm. That's the whole point. As an audience, even for me, I want to see something that I have not watched before.
Correct.
And that's what we got.
मैं यहाँ पर आपको थोड़ा करेक्ट करना चाहूँगा. आपने कहा कि that people were just consuming content on television during the pandemic and all that. मैं एक शख्सियत को जानता हूँ जो कि बॉलीवुड हंगामा के लिए फिटनेस वीडियोस बना रही थी. उनका नाम हमारा दस्तूर during the pandemic. I'm saying on a lighter note. No, but I think there were people who ate and bloated.
Yeah.
But I think there were people like you and other I think artists who made sure that they continued their fitness part and their diet regimen as well.
Even you stayed fit during the pandemic.
अब आप लोगों से inspire होते रहे.
No, but I mean, even
that's
then,
important. Somehow I lost 2 kgs during pandemic because I thought it can be done. It's an excuse that you just don't want to do something.
But you know that I've always been a fitness person. For me, fitness is everything. I feel like it's my meditation. For me, it's sweating it out. It's really, really working out, and it's just keeping fit and looking a particular way. And in our industry, unfortunately or fortunately, we do get scrutinized for putting on weight. We really do. You've seen it. You've seen how trolls can be. Suddenly, if you've got like one little piece of like fat hanging out or something, you'll see people pointing at that every day.
Absolutely.
So for me, that's what's important. I don't want to be trolled. I really am happy about the way I am. I'm very comfortable also with my body, and it's taken years to get there. It doesn't happen overnight. It is a lifestyle.
Yeah, and one thing that I've always noticed is that you're always happy, which is something that I think it comes from heightened intelligence to just keep a certain
I'm just Parsi,
No, Parsis are excellent. I think they are outstanding. I have I think great, and most of them they think I'm a Parsi as well. So.
Yeah, because you really come off as Parsi, but that's a good thing.
Both my names, they're Parsi.
Yes.
Name as well as surname.
True. Hi everyone, I'm Amaira Dastoor and you're watching me on Bollywood Hungama.